What's up guys, my name's Eric and I play guitar in Blessthefall. And I'm going to show you guys all the gear I use on tour and stuff I even mess with at home. So, cool. So this is my pedal board. This is the necessity that every guitar and bassist may need on stage is a chromatic tuner so we don't play out of tune because that would not be good. I'll move up to noise suppressor, keep any kind of ground noise kind of out of our ears, out of the front of the house, kind of quiet, suppresses everything, keeps everything nice and quiet. I use a Maxon OD808 overdrive, give it a little more bite to our distortion. I also throw in an equalizer. It kind of gets a little bit more girth out of the head. Sometimes I can't dial in the head exactly where I need to, so actually being able to break apart the EQ really gets the tone that I'm looking for. Start moving over to our effects. I use a carbon copy analog delay. Usually use that for a lot of like little studio leads, octaves, kind of beefs it up because it, makes it a little more forgiving, sliding around the fretboard. And here is my Strymon timeline. That's actually the newest one I have. This thing's awesome. You can basically build and create any kind of delay you want. There's so many rad effects. You can make like a vinyl effect, any like the coolest reverses I've ever had. I used to have a Nova delay and I traded that out for the timeline, and it's just, I discover something new every day with this thing. It's probably my favorite pedal right now. You know what, we use it on tour too. Actually at home when I'm using Logic, we usually try to build delays in Logic, but I've been finding myself using these pedals instead because I can really get what I'm looking for. Like, it's hard to match the type of delay that I can get out of this timeline on Logic, at least to my abilities. So, cool. That also brings me down to the Big Sky, which is also Strymon, which is another super reverb pedal. Basically, you can create any kind of reverb out there. One of my favorite bands is Coldplay, and he's a big supporter of that pedal, so I wanted to try it out, and it's insane. Like, there's no better pedal. Strymon makes the best pedals out there. So there's that guy. I also use in the studio at home. Up here is a very interesting one. This is Digitech Drop Tune. We do a lot of different key signatures and guitar changes in our set usually, and that guy kind of eliminates changing guitars the entire set. So you can drop tune basically a half step with every turn of the knob. So we usually play in D, and I go to C sharp, to C, to B, to A. It's pretty crazy. We use that overseas a lot too, so we don't have to bring so many guitars, and we use it live too when we do quick changes, and it's seamless and it sounds amazing, like you can't even tell. So that's a little bit of a godsend, saves us a little bit on our travel fees. And then right here is the guy that holds everything together. This is my brand, it's Musicon Lab MK3, and that basically ties everything. I have all my pedals running through there, so I basically don't have to tap dance all over my pedal board. And yeah, it's an awesome MIDI controller. So yeah, that's my pedal board. This is my EVH 5153. I've been using this for about the last 4 or 5 years. Definitely haven't had a need to have a new amp because this thing does it all. The cleans are just really nice and soft, and they cut through really well. You can adjust all the present on all 3 channels. On this tour, we're actually using all 3 channels, which is awesome because we got a lot of ambient, softer songs for playing. But this favorite I've ever played out of. I've played out of a lot of cool ones before this, but this is definitely my favorite. So this is my main axe. I play the Deluxe LTD. I really like this one a lot because it has an Evertune in it, and it's witchcraft, man. It's like the combination between having the Evertune and the drop tune. It's always in perfect tune. I never have to touch it. Every now and then I'll make some small tweaks, and this bad boy's ready to go. I put the Seymour Duncans in it, give it that nice passive bite. And yeah, this is my main go-to. I'm using D'Addarios. I use 11s to 52s, and they're the heavy lights, I believe. And yeah, that's what we use. On this guitar, it's crazy. It's like you literally strap on the strings. You don't even have to stretch them, so you get a lot of that bounce out of them for a long time. So actually on these, I think every like 4 shows. It used to be every other show, and these strings just last a long time on this guitar, which is great. On my E2, I actually change the strings maybe every 3 shows. Gotta stretch these out a little bit more and make sure the intonation stays all nice and tight. But yeah, this is my D guitar. So we switch off guitars only twice during a set, which is great, and we play 4 different keys. So it's pretty awesome.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I play guitar in Blessthefall. We're going to look at some gear that I use on the road. Here's my pedal board. Chain starts with a drop tune pedal. So pretty much what I don't do is this thing can go through think it's 50 semitones, so it can go half step, half step, half step. So pretty much I have a guitar set to D, drop D, so it doesn't have too much tension on the neck. And then I just drop it to C with this. Throughout the set I alternate between B and C, and then turn it off to go back to D. I don't have any guitar changes unless something happens. It's a lot of pressure off of our tech, and it's a good time because you can have one show where you play 3 shows without changing one guitar and then drop to the other backup, and that's never played a show. So it's been pretty cool, easy on him, and convenient for myself. So then that goes right into a TU3 tuner, which is pretty basic. That goes right into the Musicom. This is kind of like the brains of everything. So these are all independent parallel loops, this chain being the effects loop, the bottom one being straight in as if it was in front of the head. It sounds super complex, but it's really not too bad. EQs in the effects loop, Strymons, Big Sky, Timeline. This is a reverb, this is a delay, huge amount of effects. And then I use a Maxon OD808. This is like my favorite pedal, I feel like. And then my noise suppressor NS2. So it's pretty simple. The cool thing about the Musicom is that whereas before you usually have to do like a tap dance to kind of get around your effects, I have for hollow bodies, Oathbreaker, Walk on Water, water, Open Water with, and I have different banks, so you could do Stay Still and all that. So what's cool about this is instead of doing a tap dance, I have individual preset delays and reverbs made for the actual songs to kind of emulate what we do when we're demoing or what we're doing in the studio. So it's really convenient. Big Sky and the Timeline are some of the best pedals I've ever used for when it comes to like delays and reverbs. And I've used a ton. I've had a DD20, I've had a DL4, I've had the Nova delay, and the Strymon just kind of beats the snot out of all of them. So it's kind of a big boy pedal when you want to graduate. It's been pretty great though, and it's super easy to use on the road. Big surprise, I use an EVH. Eric's actually got my backup one over on his thing. I use the G3 Sennheiser. I've had that thing for probably about 5 years. I've taken it on every international tour we've ever been on, and it still works. So I mean, that's a testament to Sennheiser. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I don't use the crunch. As you can see, there's nothing marked on this one, but right now I'm going between the high gain and the clean. Although I do think that the crunch is pretty darn close. I've seen some bands really use it well, like we were on tour with ETID, and those guys just kill it with the crunch. So it made me kind of like go back to it and try and replicate that, and I just haven't been able to find a proper part in our set where it's easy to just do that instead of just dialing the volume down. So it's been pretty crazy, but pretty simple layout. Looks kind of intimidating with the MIDI controller. It's not. So for guitars, I just use an E2. It's an Eclipse 2. It's one of their new ones. It's kind of got a satin kind of black kind of cool finish to it. Just the JB59 pickups. Don't really use too many actives. This one's just set to drop D. And I just have an EC1000 Silver Burst. I have the E2 at home, but it's like my pride and glory, so I don't ever want to take it out. And then yeah, for like the backup, something really goes bad, I use Old Reliable, which is the EC1000T. It's got a thicker body like a Gibson. Same kind of pickups in each one. This thing's super reliable, built like a tank. I think I just used these for like the better course of all the Hollow Bodies record cycle. If I had to buy one guitar for the rest of my life, this would probably be the one. So.